Hello everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. I'm really excited about this one that I'm going to be sharing with you guys because it is going to be about me reading the essays and just sharing some tips that got me accepted into Yonsei University and Hanyang University in South Korea. So just a disclaimer, although I was accepted into these schools, I am not attending these schools. I will be going to Hiroshima University in Japan, but I still thought that it would be very useful for some people who may have interest in going to graduate school in South Korea. Some of the essays that, could get you potentially an acceptance, just so you can know the quality of the quality of like an essay that you may need to write. So this is purely just to help you guys out. Also, just some background. In undergrad, I was a biology major and a chem minor. So all the programs that I applied to in South Korea and Japan were more humanities based. So I do have a more natural sciences background, but I still think that, even if you majored in something in undergrad that is completely unrelated to something that you want to major in grad school, you just gotta, do the work, prove through your study plans, your essays, your application that you're still worth, the risk, you're still worth them extending you an acceptance letter because you've shown that you've put in the work. So I hope that you guys can find this extremely helpful. Also, these essays are very personal to me, so let's just keep it kind. Yes, but without further ado, this for my first essay, it'll be the study plan that I needed to submit for Yonsei University, and then I'll be reading my personal statements. I will be reading from my handy dandy laptop, and y'all, I got this new digital pen. It's amazing, so I'm really excited for this. Okay. I just want to apologize ahead of time because as you're reading the captions in this video, you'll see that there are a lot of grammatical errors. The content of the essay is about 90% there, but please, if you're the grammar police, please do not arrest me. I'm just trying to be helpful. So enjoy, please. Amazing Grace is one of the most notable gospel songs of all time. The author of the song at one point in time owned enslaved Africans from parts of Ghana and Sierra Leone. Although he once supported a genocidal system, he eventually rejected his previous profession as a slave trader and became an avid abolitionist in the United States. The change that this man displays is not rare. However, history has shown that it is not uncommon for people who consider themselves to be religious to use sacred text to enforce subjugation. Unfortunately, there are many instances in history where religion was contorted and used to justify evil systems or to extend the will of corrupt leaders. South Korea's religious demographic is made up of 30% Christian, 25% Buddhist, and the remainder of the population is atheist. I consider myself a Christian, and I am interested in researching if and how Christianity, specifically Protestantism and Catholicism, are influencing policy in South Korea. South Korea, henceforth known as Korea, is home to the largest megachurch in the world, leading me to believe that these and other Christian institutions have an effect on social and political understandings. In the United States, I have witnessed how evangelical Christians reject individuals in the LGBTQ+ community. These two Christians are racially intolerant and intentionally voting for politicians who limit the access to basic human rights, all of which oppose the teachings in the Bible. I am not suggesting all Christians in America or across the world misuse the living scriptures. However, I am interested in what alienating behaviors are preached in South Korean churches to see which groups are feeling the weight of these attitudes. When Christianity was first introduced to Korea, it was an outcast religion, and many of its followers experienced religious persecution. Despite the suppression experienced by Korean Christians, in the 1800s, the religion would go on to play a key role in democratizing the country. In my research, I would like to analyze how Christianity gained legitimacy during times of injustice and suppression. Additionally, are there any conflicting political ideas among the Protestant and Catholic denominations in Korea? From this question, I will research where these political thoughts came from, in parentheses, biblical texts, mistranslations, religious leaders, etc., and how non-Christians view these ideals. From these questions, we will first get a background of how Christianity spread through Korea despite severe religious persecution. After researching the foundations of Christianity in Korea, we can see how modern denominations develop their own political wills that influence society. Thank you. So I hope you guys found the reading of my study plan helpful. And I just want to preface by saying the study plan in your application, it's more of something like once you get accepted to that university, this is the content that you'll be like writing your master's thesis over. Like this is something that you're gonna stick with for the next 2 years or however long the program may be. I'm not sure if it's something that you can change. I haven't started my program yet. I started in like 10 days now. So, well, 10 days from when this video is filmed. So yeah, but again, I'll be in Japan by the time you're watching this video. Thank you for watching, by the way. But now I'm just gonna share some tips about writing your essays because I want you guys to have, you know, amazing graduate school admissions essays as well. So first, to start off with, set yourself up for success and give yourself plenty of time for writing these essays. I would honestly recommend around 3 months. You can definitely push it comfortably to 2 months or 1.5 months, just depending on your writing style. If you want a lot of people to look at your essay, I would definitely give yourself 3 months. If you want to, you know, write some, take a few days off, gather your thoughts, come back to it, I would recommend 3 months. But if this is something that you kind of want to hammer down, you know, in the thick of it, I still feel like that's honestly what I did. I'm not saying do what I did, but I feel like I at least gave myself 6 to 8 weeks for each of the essays that I wrote for all of my schools. But give yourself plenty of time. And the other tip I'm going to give, very important, you need to brainstorm. The good thing is, if this is something that you plan to do, like applying to a university abroad, if this is something that you want to come to like 2 years in the future or like 1.5 years in the future, you do have time to just kind of like aimlessly brainstorm as you're going about your day. For my essays, literally all that was happening, the reason I came up with my essays was I was watching Singles Inferno, and one of the contestants, she just said that she was a Christian, and I was like, really? Like, I did not realize there was a large Christian demographic in South Korea. So then I looked it up, and it was like, wow, there are a lot of Christians in Korea. So I literally just chose to write my essay about that. Sometimes it's just like that. It doesn't have to be anything, you know. That was what very lighthearted, you know, event that happens that led to an essay. But, you know, you guys can find inspiration everywhere. Just never doubt how much a good brainstorming session can really set you up for success. For me, I brainstorm like I get an assignment. I know that I need to write this essay. I spend the day writing everything I know about it, how I think at that moment in time I can formulate my research. I take a break, I come back to it, and sometimes it's actually more cohesive than when I originally read it. So that's something to start your essay off. Next, my fourth and final tip, it could have been third, I didn't really keep count. Utilize your university writing center. If it's not a writing center, if it's just a professor that you really trust, if you have a parent that is well-versed in the writings that a graduate school would be interested in, if you have a friend too, whoever it may be, utilize them, get you to look at your stuff. Get them to look at your stuff. It's very helpful. The girl that I used to help me write my essays, Sabrina, bless her heart, so extremely helpful. Every time I came out of that writing center, first of all, I felt like my writing was on track, and I just feel like she's just really helpful about, you know, you can be more concise here, it's a little wordy here, I understand your point, but you could probably describe it better. And if you really put forth effort with the first rough draft that you give your writing center or you give to somebody, you maybe can get your essay correct after 2 to 3 more times of like hardcore editing of your essay. So it's definitely not something that's going to take like 10 editing sessions. So don't let that scare you. Definitely put effort into all of the drafts that you let other people look at. And whenever they do give you constructive criticism, take a moment. It's very hard for people to look at your work and then, because sometimes it's related to previous personal experience, it could sometimes feel like somebody's attacking you, but they're just here to make you feel better. Not make you feel better. They're here to make your writing get better, and they want you to achieve the dreams that you have for applying for the school too. So give yourself some grace. It's gonna be okay. I hope this was very helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I would love to see what you guys think. Yeah, but thank you so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day. And if you would consider subscribing, that would be great.